I'm your number one fan.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
My mom and dad are gonna be
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to Killer Cuties Podcast.
That's us.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
We're here to talk about Cuckoo.
Yeah.
But first, news.
News. And
News
like
first?
current news too.
Yeah.
We filmed so much in advance and now we're both back from vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We can stay hip with the times now. Love that for us.
Me too.
I go first.
Okay. Then do that.
I've decided. First little bit of news from me. If you like to read, Brad Anderson's cult classic film Session 9 is getting a novelization, and it's supposed to release on October 4th. Just in time for Halloween.
It's backwards.
Yeah. Well, I feel like they've done that before.
Oh.
Something else just got a novelization too, and I can't remember what it was, but it's irrelevant because that's not my news. This is my news.
Oh.
Anyways, it's going to be done by Christian Anderson. He's also done novelizations for Wishmaster, Creature, and Vamp. If you haven't seen Session 9, or if you don't want to watch it, but you're interested in the book, here's a little thing about the plot. Tensions rise within an asbestos cleaning crew as they work in an abandoned mental hospital with a horrific past that seems to be coming back.
Oh.
I've seen the movie. I enjoyed it. I'd love to read more about it. I think they're going to delve into the world a little bit more and kind of explore it. So, should be cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
For me, Hayden Panettiere. Was that how you say her name? Hayden Panettiere?
Sure.
Okay. And Tyler James Williams are starring in a horror movie called Amber Alert that's coming out next month, September 2024.
Oh.
And a trailer has just dropped for it. We will link it in the description. But apparently, this movie will show us what happens when an ordinary rideshare becomes a high-stakes game of cat and mouse.
Uber horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I bet a kid goes missing. Otherwise, why would they name it like that?
Yeah, I bet the parents, Hayden and Tyler,
yes,
order an Uber for their kid.
And then they're gone.
Later, kid.
Later.
Yikes. Like that movie Greenland. No, not Greenland. There's a movie where they take a kid in a car and they're like, maybe it is Greenland.
I've never heard of that movie.
You never heard of Greenland?
No.
It's end of the world meteors with Gerard Butler, I think.
And they steal a kid in the end of the world? Don't they have more important things going on?
I'm probably crossing like 4 or 5 different movies.
Oh, okay. You ever seen Taken?
No, actually.
You should look up the compilation of the daughter running.
I have.
That's
She's
my favorite part. Aww.
Yeah.
Lost on the track, if you know what I mean.
The
girl's never ran in her life.
In
his defense, I think it's other people getting taken in the sequels. But
oh, okay. So she runs stupid that many times in one movie?
It's in one movie. It's every time she runs. It's so bad.
Oh, that's funny.
Just flailing.
Yeah.
Let's watch Taken instead.
Okay.
Okay. No, okay. Other piece of news from me.
Mm-hmm.
Relevant, because Alien Romulus is in theaters right now. You can go see it. But Fede Alvarez, the director of Alien Romulus, has teased a different way to expand the universe.
The Alien universe?
Yeah.
Oh.
Another Predator crossover. He said, maybe it's something I have to co-direct with my buddy Dan, meaning Dan Trachtenberg, who directed Prey of the Predator series.
Fun.
Yeah, and he apparently said that they should do like what Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did for Dusk Till Dawn, where like one directs half and the other directs the other half. So he said, I don't know, if people want to see it, we'll have to see how well Alien Romulus does. But it's doing well at the theaters, so I don't know. If he can convince Dan, maybe that's something we'll get. I'd watch anything from Fede Alvarez, so yeah. I'm in.
As long as they name it 2 Alien, 2 Predator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alienator X.
Yeah. Last one from me. Last one from us.
And then we end the podcast forever.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later. The house from Poltergeist is up for sale in the Simi Valley for the first time in over 45 years.
Oh my God.
I know. The movie came out in 1982, so it hasn't been sold since the movie came out. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,300 square foot home on a pretty big lot. And all things considered, it's only going for $1.1 million. So really not, I mean, that's a lot of money, but not for a house in California. That's nothing. So if I had to guess, I don't think that they really factored in the like pop culture aspect at all. I don't think that they're banking on making any more money because it's the Poltergeist house, which is kind of sad.
I don't believe that. I feel like they could make a lot of money.
I would think so.
I feel like a bidding war is in their future.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so for their sake because 1.1
like
seems underpriced.
For a house that's as iconic as that.
Uh-huh.
Well, you heard it here first. You can go buy the Poltergeist house for a cool 1.1 mil.
Yeah. If anybody has one of that 1.1 and they want to go in with me on it.
1 million of the 1.1?
Yeah.
Great, okay.
Just kidding. I probably don't even have that much.
If you have the 1.1 million and a spare bedroom, Katie will go in on it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks. All right.
Cool.
What are we here for?
We're here to talk about Cuckoo, which is also a new movie in theaters now. Go see it. Well, no, listen to this and then go see it.
Well, we're going to spoil the entire movie.
Yeah, go see it and then come back.
For the fun
Press
facts.
pause right now. Go to the theater. Watch it. Come back and press play again.
Yeah.
There we go. I nailed it. I got there eventually. Okay, we're going to start spoiling it now. So now's your chance to pause. Okay. A little overview of the plot. 17-year-old Gretchen reluctantly leaves America to live with her father at a resort in the German Alps. Plagued by strange noises and bloody visions, she soon discovers a shocking secret that concerns her own family. That's from Google. It was written and directed by Tilman Singer, and it stars Hunter Schafer as Gretchen and Dan Stevens as Dr. Koenig. Yeah. It had a budget of $7 million. So far, it's made $4.5 million at the box office. It's got a 78% critic score and a 61% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 6.4 on IMDb right now. That's what we're looking at.
Wow. I saw 5.5.
On IMDb?
No, that it's earned so far.
Oh.
I did see 4.5, but I also, another source told me 5.5.
I just refreshed Wikipedia and it went up to 5.4
million. There you go.
It's making millions as we speak. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, there we go. So, yeah, obviously, it's still opening weekend, so yeah. Still making money.
I didn't recognize Dan Stevens.
Okay.
But when I realized that was his name, I was like, oh my God, that sounds really familiar. How do I know Dan Stevens? It's because I listened to the song Evermore from the 2017 live action remake of Beauty and the Beast all the time. And he plays the Beast and sings that song.
In Beauty and the Beast?
Yes, the live action remake from 2017.
With what's her nut?
Yep.
Huh. Yeah.
Which is why I didn't recognize him, because he's Beast.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him from that either, but I saw that once and never again. So
Yeah.
it didn't really stick. I recognize him from The Guest, another horror thriller.
He's in Downton Abbey too, I think, right?
I don't know. I've never seen Downton Abbey.
Me neither, but I'm pretty sure he's in that. Lots of people have seen that.
He was also in Abigail, so I recognize him from that.
Just now.
Just now. just right now he was in it. So yeah, he's been in a few things here and there that I've seen him in that I enjoyed. Really kind of got to go balls to the wall in this one, huh?
Hell yeah.
Be a weird little dude.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, you like a weird little dude, don't you? Yeah.
I liked playing the flute, playing his little flute.
He did play the flute a lot.
Walking us around with his. That's what Hunter Schafer said was her favorite part about filming, was whenever Dan would pull out his little flute. I
love that.
Which sounds a lot hornier than it is.
Yeah, it was just an actual flute.
Literally a flute.
Yeah. Yeah. Dan Stevens wasn't going to be in it originally, though.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, John Malkovich was originally cast.
Oh, shit. I fucking love John Malkovich, so wait a minute.
Yeah, he was originally cast in the role, and then he dropped out like last minute, really, due to just like timing issues. Because I think that they kept getting pushed back and stuff.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in May.
Yeah, well, production got pushed back, and then also release got pushed back. Because this is actually Hunter Schafer's first film.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it came out after like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and after Kinds of Kindness too. That just came out, and she was in that, but filmed this first. But yeah, so John Malkovich was originally supposed to be in it. Gemma Chan was supposed to be in it, and Sophia Boutella was supposed to be in it as well.
Oh my gosh!
And they all had to drop out due to timing issues. But the one we know for certain who they were supposed to play is John Malkovich. He was supposed to be Dr. Koenig, and then. Yeah, basically Dan Stevens and Tilman Singer worked together to kind of like revamp the character a little bit, because obviously he was not the same guy that John Malkovich was going to be playing. But yeah, I think it would have been an interesting version with him in it. I like him.
What's your favorite John Malkovich role?
I don't know. I'd have to look them up and like. Let me look. Let me look.
Well, now that you're looking, I bet you could guess mine.
What is it? Avatar?
No.
He wasn't in that, was he? I'm not seeing a movie that sticks out as like a Katie movie. Hold on.
Oh.
I'm probably too far up. I gotta scroll back.
It's
Yeah, it's older. Oh shit.
Say it.
Is it Transformers?
Oh no, I forgot he was in that. No, it's not. But
I was like, oh fuck, here we go again.
I forgot he was in those. Before that.
Okay.
Let me make sure it's him.
I'm not seeing the one that
because it's taking you a lot longer than I thought.
Fully sticks out as a Katie movie. He was in Changeling. That might be mine. Changeling's a good movie.
Are you just looking at his Google?
No, I'm looking at his IMDb.
Oh, it's pretty early on his list of Google movies.
Oh.
And it's not Penguins of Madagascar, before you ask. Oh, he's even credited in Cuckoo, according to Google.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do I not know? Is it Johnny English? That feels like something you would like.
No. I'll just tell you.
Okay.
He plays King Galbatorix in Aragon.
Oh. See, that's how you know that Google changes based on who you are as a person. Because that is not early on in his things for me.
It's like the 5th or 6th row.
Okay. It's after Penguins of Madagascar.
Yeah, it is after Penguins of Madagascar.
Okay, I thought it would be before. All right, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is really good too.
Oh yeah, that's a good book.
One. Great guy. Well, actor. I don't know him personally.
Oh yeah,
but
personally.
One day.
I hope he's fine.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Anyway, glad Dan Stevens got the role. Little bummed that it wasn't John Malkovich.
Yeah, I think John Malkovich would have done a fantastic job.
It would have been a different character though.
it would have been a very different character. And Dan Stevens did a fine job.
Yes,
He
carried.
he was great to watch.
Yeah.
A delight, a joy, if you will.
Yes. He and Hunter Schafer carried.
Yeah, they were both fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good.
Everybody was. them the most.
You know who my favorite character was?
Couldn't tell you.
It was
Okay.
It was the dog that they forgot in the car, let out, and then you never saw again.
Yep. That.
I think they forgot they had a dog in one scene.
Yeah.
That was the wildest part. I kept thinking, when's this dog gonna come into play? Never did. You never see it again.
Yep.
One scene.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It did build a little bit of tension because it was like barking or whatever at the bird.
But that's why I was like, oh, this is gonna this dog's gonna sense when shit's getting weird.
Yeah.
Nope. Never see it again.
Also, that was spoiled for me in the Does the Dog Die?
Oh.
It literally just said, there's a dog inexplicably in the first scene of the movie that you never see again.
You never see it again.
Yeah. It does not die. It comes out of a car and that's it. And that's literally
They
it.
forget it in the car and then they forget that they put it in the movie. That's the whole journey of that dog.
Poor dog.
I got done with the movie and was like, wasn't there a dog? What happened to that? That's weird.
Yeah, well, whatever. What genre is this movie?
Sci-fi thriller?
Oh.
No? What would you say?
I mean, I would put horror.
Yeah, I was thinking subgenre.
Okay.
Because what we do here every week is that we're a horror movie podcast.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
So yeah. I think
that's so
horror's
true.
A given.
You make a good point.
Yeah.
But you didn't say it, so I mean, I'm just.
Well, I thought it was implied, but that's my bad. I'll clarify next time. That's on me.
I only specifically call out that I think it's horror because, I mean, a lot of the cast did not feel like it was horror because they had a super happy, fun time filming their scenes.
That's fair.
Yeah, the actress who played Beatrix specifically was like, there was nothing horror about anything that I did, so it didn't feel like it. And then I forget his name, who played the dad, also said he more saw it as a psychological drama. So then the whole cast and everybody was arguing about what genre it is. Tilman Singer confirmed 4 things: horror, psychological drama, coming of age, sci-fi.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. And all true.
All true. You know when you get prepped for a sneeze and then it just doesn't. It fucking embarrasses you.
Yeah.
That's what just happened there.
You should be.
Mm-hmm. I'm never showing my face in this town again. I would agree. Coming of age. I don't think I would think of this as a coming of age, but I get it, I guess.
Just because she's 17 in the movie doesn't mean it's a coming of age movie.
I agree. I don't think we're really watching her come to age.
Yeah.
I think there's other things that she's dealing with.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, she does hate the sister towards the beginning and then is responsible essentially for the sister towards the end. That's age coming. Of.
I think that's more like a family dynamic within the film rather than a full-on genre.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Tilman Singer disagrees.
Sorry, Singer. I say no. He did say, though, when he wrote this movie, one, he saw a documentary about cuckoo birds, and that triggered it, right? Because obviously that's a whole central thing of this. Mm-hmm. He wanted to project that onto humans. And originally he said he wanted to go more of a Rosemary's Baby route and go from the point of view of the mother. I mean, that was housing. Well, so So like Rosemary's Baby, I think you can assume like it's her baby, right? So like,
Okay.
yeah, so it's about a woman and a baby.
Okay.
So that was the route he was going to go, was a mom's point of view. So like the host basically. But then he thought it would be much like worse to be a sibling in the nest where like you have this weird thing. He's like, that's more interesting. So let's go with that. And I think that that's interesting. He was also said he thought about Neanderthals a lot.
Can't say I got that.
I'll get there. Ready? We're going to connect the dots.
Okay.
So he said because it was like a different species of humans that lived side by side, like coexisted, crossbred at some point, and then for whatever reason went extinct. And so in his idea, he was like, what if in this world we had a separate species of humans, they just didn't go extinct? And that's kind of what the like cuckoo monster is in this, which I think is interesting that he kind of views it possibly as just like a divergence of a human.
Yeah.
Instead of a full-blown monster.
Yeah. It's just a subspecies of
Right.
Homo sapien.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. Did you go down the cuckoo rabbit hole like I did?
I didn't, because you know what I thought?
Katie's going to do it for me.
I thought that's birds. That's Katie.
Yeah. More notes that all the notes I took are about the birds.
I'm obsessed with that. Please tell me about the birds.
I will. I just highlighted the stuff that I was like, oh, that's in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Okay. So first thing I learned about cuckoos, roadrunners are part of the cuckoo family. That's super interesting.
Oh.
Bet you didn't know that.
I didn't.
They're not one of the parasitic cuckoos, which only a small portion of the cuckoo family are parasitic. So, okay, I'm just going to start at the top. So, some cuckoos lay eggs in communal nests, and like everyone shares responsibility with
that
building the
fine.
nest. Yeah, incubating, rearing the young, defending the nest. But a lot of the times in those large groups, some of the females would be like, I'm the macho female, and she kills everybody else's babies, and then everybody raises the one female's babies.
Okay.
So there's that.
That's less. At first I was like, oh, like it takes a village and that.
No.
Okay.
It takes a village to raise the one cuckoo's babies. But...
a village that she's going to murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
So 60 species of cuckoos are the obligate brood parasites that are kind of like reflected in the movie.
Yeah.
Meaning they reproduce only by laying their eggs in other birds' nests. And then those host birds rear the young. Their eggs have naturally selected to be thicker than other birds. Well, okay, so that's a whole nother thing. There's like this arms race between the host species and the parasitic species.
Yeah.
Because the host species is like, you know, we got to figure out a way to not be tricked by these parasites. And the parasites are like, they're on to us. So they're just, you know, they're both fighting, basically trying to like out-evolve each other.
Got it. And
scientists say that eventually this like constant battle of adaptation and counter-adaptation, somebody's going to win, which is actually going to make them both lose. Then, okay, so then the other thing, the cuckoo eggs hatch earlier. So the like mom cuckoo keeps the egg inside her.
Okay.
Extra long. It bakes inside a little bit longer than it needs to.
Yeah.
So that when she lays the eggs, they're guaranteed to be the first that hatch. So then they get like the nutrients first from the host mother, right? And then those baby cuckoos kick the hatched host babies out of the nest.
Like, how do they know how to do that, though?
Natural selection.
So, like, a baby just knows?
I guess.
That's crazy. Human babies don't know shit.
Human babies know how to swim. That's impressive.
True. But they just came from, like, water, so.
I guess that's true.
They should. I like that, though. You can see that parallel in the film, for sure.
Totally.
Because they even talk about how Alma, like, ate her twin in the womb. She was taking them resources.
Yeah.
Nom, 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 nom. That's what it sounds like when a baby eats the twin in the womb.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you knew that. But...
I do now.
Yeah, you're welcome. I like that. I read a lot of like Reddit threads and stuff about the movie. just I like to hear what people think, you know?
Yeah, okay.
What questions people had, you know? Answers, theories. Media literacy is dead. A lot of people were like, there's so many plot holes in this, and then they just say things that like they said in the movie. I was like, oh well, I don't think you were watching. I don't think people know what a plot hole is. It's a plot hole isn't something that you don't understand. It's
Correct.
just yeah. But that's fine. There was a lot about Alma and Dan Stevens' character too. Why is he doing this? I'm like, do you know how many people like dedicate their whole life to preserving species? That's not that big of a stretch.
No, it's really.
I hate unanswered questions and things, like especially if it feels like you didn't like know what you were doing. I'm not going to fault this movie for that. There's other things I'm going to fault it for, but not that.
I think the people that don't like this movie were thinking too fucking hard.
I do think that there are other issues that this movie has, which we can get into if you'd like. But I don't think the plot wasn't like super tight, but I think you could like reasonably deduce some of the things that these people were asking about.
Yeah.
But I will say, Tilman Singer said himself that for Cuckoo it was about creating an atmosphere instead of having the super concrete plot that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's fair.
That's fine.
It's not a super concrete plot that makes a lot of sense. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But some of the things are not plot holes. You just weren't listening. And that's okay too.
Yeah. If anything, I feel like they over-explained some things.
Really?
I feel like some of the science-y stuff was a little over-explained.
That's fair.
Didn't need it. What I
didn't
wish
feel like
had
it was
happened-
over-explained, but...
What I wish had happened was I wish they had put like, maybe somebody was watching a documentary about cuckoos or like gave people that context at the beginning as opposed to just like, oh, here's a cuckoo. You already know what that's about. Because some people don't.
Yeah. Well, there's a section in the movie where he talks about them.
But he doesn't really go into detail.
He talks about how they like choose someone else's nest and put their young in there.
Oh, I missed that. Nobody's paying attention watching this movie.
No, nobody
Clearly.
fucking watched this movie. Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, also, I guess in like early festival reviews, people were calling this 2024's Hereditary.
Calm down.
I don't. Again, he said it's not about the plot, and not to like ride it for a second, but Ari Aster's writing is like tight. Like that man does not include unnecessary details. Everything has its meaning. Everything has its purpose. Everything comes back around. Like, he has very well structured plots, whether or not you like the movies themselves. You can't say that that's not tight writing. I don't think this movie had that. But Tilman Singer also disagreed. He was like, I don't want people to call it that. I wanted them to call it 2024's film that young people managed to sneak into and see too early. Which I think is funny. He's like, no. Underage kids should absolutely go see this movie. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's not, I mean, yeah. It's not Hereditary.
It's not Hereditary, but it's a film.
Yeah.
It is a film.
There are some family elements.
Sure, yeah. They both have that. Absolutely.
Even at its core, they're not even close to being the same. Hereditary is supernatural possession. This is...
I think they meant it more of like, not like it's the same, but more of like that elevated horror caliber level type horror. You know what I mean?
I don't even think this is elevated horror.
I don't either, personally.
It's horror.
It is. Listen, it's horror.
Yeah. Contrary to what some of the actors will tell you.
Yeah, they're wrong. I don't know what movie they thought they were in.
Well, I think at the point that they had said that, they hadn't seen it yet. Which is crazy. You'd think they'd be the first people to see it.
Like, you were there when, like, the goo and stuff was happening, right? Like, that alone, I feel like, is... And the bike scene, all shot practically. They didn't add that in. So...
That was spooky.
Yeah, I liked that scene a lot. I almost wish that wasn't in the trailers. But yeah, Singer said that they had about 4.5 hours of nighttime to work with. the cinematographer had done like a 3D scenario so they could map out how far the street lamps needed to be for it to work.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get like heavy duty street lamps because the original ones weren't lighting it properly.
Oh no.
So they had to get like stronger ones. And then Kaylin Morrow, who plays like the mother, like the hooded woman lady,
Mm-hmm.
she was actually just running behind Hunter Schafer while they filmed that. Like it's all done practically. They shot that and that's what they used.
Crazy.
And I appreciate that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
That was my favorite scene.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Love that.
It was a show. Practical.
I just, I'll cream in my jeans for practical effects. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Most of the film was not filmed in the mountains at all either.
Which is sad because it was beautiful.
Yeah, that was all digitally enhanced. But they did do a few scenes in the mountains towards the end of filming.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting that they barely were up there.
Yeah, that was another thing. A lot of people were like, why would you have like these gorgeous sets, like this gorgeous backdrop, and then have the final act take place in this like stale ass hospital?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Especially when it seems like this creature thrives in the wilderness. So they were like, it's the perfect excuse to do that. And then they chose like this ugly backdrop for the finale.
Yeah. Yeah, like a forest chase scene would have been fun and cutesy.
Yeah. No, hospital shootout with two people with the worst aim in the whole world.
Yeah, and the shootout, was that necessary? I mean, I get it, but...
Still confused because like there were so many moments in this that were like almost goofy.
Goofy?
Not in like a bad way, just like them just like shooting at each other and like making jokes and like him laughing when like the wig gets thrown and stuff. Like it was just kind of like a little bit silly. And they didn't lean into that. Like they just took itself, I think it took itself a little too seriously.
Okay. I mean, there were a few places where I laughed.
Yeah. But then I feel like some of those moments felt a little bit out of place because they were taking it so seriously.
Okay. That's a fair observation.
Thank you.
I don't agree with you, but okay.
You know.
It's fair.
We're not going to agree on everything. Also, for the shooting scenes, Dan Stevens, in an interview, he talked about how when they were shooting this, it was the like right in the aftermath of the Rust tragedy. Ooh. Sorry.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but that's like how long they filmed this a while ago.
Yeah.
And so he told Singer when he joined, he was like, I'm not working on set with any live guns. Like, there's just no reason for it at this point. Like, you can enhance anything digitally after the fact. There's no reason to use live guns. Mm-hmm. And he's right.
Yeah.
And Singer honored that. But apparently it did make it a little bit more difficult because Singer, a fan of practical effects, wanted the, like, muzzle flash. Mm-hmm. And a lot of fake guns don't do that. So it was like he had to search for a long time. But eventually they were able to find some that had the flash.
Nice. I figured that would be the easiest thing to add in post.
Yeah, but he likes using post to enhance.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, so he wanted that for the thing.
I mean, that feels like an enhancement. You had the okay, well, whatever. At least they were safe about it.
Yes. At least he didn't use that as an excuse not to have live guns. They did not have any live guns on set. Yeah. So I appreciate that.
We also learned from this movie that Hunter Schafer is musically talented. I mean, I didn't know that. Maybe other people knew that. But she wrote the bass lines for the score, and she helped write the song that she's listening to that's from like her band or whatever.
Yeah.
And they recorded that in the bathroom of the hotel.
Yeah. And she learned how to play bass for the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She didn't previously know.
Okay, so we did learn that she's musically talented from this movie.
Yes. She learned that. She learned how to use a butterfly trainer, and she brushed up on her ASL. Apparently she did know some ASL from when she was in school. Yeah. Yeah, apparently the song that Singer wanted for that was too expensive. They couldn't get it, so he worked with her and the composer to write that song.
I love that.
I know.
It came out good. well.
It did.
Well,
I have a butterfly knife. Well, no, I don't. I have a butterfly knife trainer. I think you can own a butterfly knife in California, but you can't have it in public. Like, you can have one in your possession in your home, but you can't have it anywhere else. And I don't think you can sell them. So it's like,
oh,
yeah. But I do have the trainer, and I know some tricks.
cute.
Yeah.
That's fun. I didn't know that about you.
Thank you.
You have to teach me some.
Okay. It's not that hard. Well, the ones I know aren't that hard. And the ones she did in the movie are pretty, like, simple, like, rollouts and just, like, opening and closing maneuvers. So it wasn't, like, there's a lot you can learn.
Yeah. That really helped, like, ground her character as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
When she was playing with the knife, like, oh, yeah. That's a very teenager thing to do. She's now 25.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it also kind of made her character just, like, a little bit more
Formidable?
No, I was going to say, like, iconic. Like, I could see people dressing up as her for, like, Halloween, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just a very, like, that's a look that you're going to remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked her jacket.
Beat the fuck up. Yeah, was this, what year does this take place?
Good question.
Because it was not now.
I mean, it felt very, like, 80s to me.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, late 80s, early 90s was what it felt. But I was trying to look up, like, when it was supposed to be set, and I couldn't find anything.
The, like, architecture is all very, like, mid-century modern.
Yeah.
That's even more confusing. But the clothing was more...
The clothing, yes.
80s.
80s,
Yeah.
90s. Which
Hard
is
to
why I
say.
thought it's just, like, a outdated motel that they're, you know. Because obviously they don't really care about the resort. They care about the impregnation. Yeah.
Well, not every movie can put a picture of Bill Clinton on the wall to make you know it's in the 90s.
I just don't know why, though.
It doesn't feel like a lot to ask.
Well, I want Bill Clinton in every movie set in the 90s. It's a simple ask.
Well, it just must
understand.
not have been set in the 90s. There's our answer. 'Cause otherwise, they would have put a picture of Bill Clinton.
Oh, it's all right. Throw a bush on the wall.
This is a Neon movie. Like
It
Long
is.
Legs.
It is. Neon. I think Tilman Singer even said that he was, like, absolutely stoked that Neon picked it up because they've been doing, like, so many cool things lately.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like they've been giving A24 a run for their money in terms of horror movies.
Totally. Come on, Blumhouse. It's just the three of you.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Blumhouse is falling behind.
Yeah.
I keep, because, god damn it, Blumhouse has given us some incredible fucking films.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I'm like, I want to believe that they can do it again. And I do believe. But they're making it harder and harder every time I watch a Blumhouse movie.
Yeah. Speaking of Blumhouse, except I don't think it's actually Blumhouse.
Okay.
I saw the, like, teaser for The Monkey.
Yes.
That is, like, all of horror royalty in a movie. It's Stephen King's short story. It's James Wan. I forget who else, but there's a lot of people. Let me look.
You forgot? That's crazy you forgot since you just mentioned his movie. It's directed by Osgood Perkins.
Osgood Perkins, yeah. It's I'm just looking it up.
Elijah Wood, Tatiana Maslany, Theo James.
Theo James, yeah, that's who was in the teaser.
Yeah. That doesn't come out until, like, February.
Yeah, it's weird that we got a trailer so yeah, February 21st. But those are the big ones. I mean, Stephen King, Osgood Perkins, and James Wan together could be good.
Could be.
I hope it is.
Yeah. But that's Neon. That's not Blumhouse.
Is it Neon?
I think so.
It's Atomic Monster.
Release in May 2024.
Yep.
Neon won a bidding war. Yep.
Distributed by Neon.
Which makes sense because they just did
trailer
Long Legs with him.
And the trailer.
Yeah.
Was before this. Anyway, I'm excited for that.
Me too.
Well, back to Cuckoo.
Great. Any other fun facts? Oh.
We asked each other the same question, but differently.
I have one more fun fact.
Okay.
For the monster design, Singer said that he wanted something that still looked human, but diseased. Like she was in a bad state. And so that was the basis for it. So the design came from more from symptoms of disease like malnourishment, reddened eyes, unhealthy skin. And then he just chose to add the, like, unhinging jaw effect in post to emphasize her main weapon, which is her song,
Her voice.
her little ditty, if you will.
Yeah. Cute.
Yeah. Fun facts.
We had a lot. We were worried
I feel
we
like
weren't
we
going to have
had
that many.
Yeah, it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard with new movies because there's just not a lot out there yet about it.
And the crazy thing is I didn't really have much overlap with you. I mean, granted, most of my facts were about the birds. But
I was counting on you for those bird facts.
Mm-hmm.
And hot
Boy,
damn, did you deliver.
Thank you. Just really excited talking about birds.
I know you do. I just talked about you, actually. I just got back from my vacation behind the scenes, and they were telling me about a girl who went on their last vacation with them, my family and friends, who was like obsessed with rocks, and she would just like pick up rocks and be like, this is a great rock, let me tell you why. And then she made my brother-in-law carry them all in his backpack. And by the end of their hike, he just had a backpack full of rocks. And I was like, she sounds a lot like my friend Katie. Like, she will just tell you about any bird and everything about the bird. And you're like, that's great. I don't really care about birds, but I love that you care about birds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Birds aren't even my thing.
That's true. But they're kind of your thing.
Well, yeah, because they're the most accessible thing.
Exactly. Birds are everywhere.
Whales are actually my thing.
Yeah.
Don't ever get on a boat with me when there's a fucking whale around.
You guys.
You'll never hear
the
end of it.
You should have seen her fucking face light up when I said... I was trying to pick... I'm already doing the schedule for next year, which is crazy, but I was trying to pick between some foreign films, and I let her pick, and one of the options was The Wailing, and her face lit up. She said, is there even an option? Whales! I said, no, not that type of whaling. There are
A-I-L-I-N-G.
Yeah, there are, in fact, no whales in The Wailing, and I'm so sorry.
I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
So I picked The Skin I'm in. The Skin, what is it?
The Skin I Live In.
The Skin I Live In.
That's one she picked. But that's not for a while.
Oh, yeah, like
Don't
8
tease
months.
the people.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
You have to stay around now. They have
That's
to stay
true.
for 8
You
months
got to
and
stick
stay
around to find out what she thinks about The Skin I Live In.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the list.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Yeah, I was a little disappointed it wasn't about whales, but that's okay.
I'm so sorry. I vow to find a horror movie about whales.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Free Willy's pretty scary.
But, yeah.
Okay, let's rate Cuckoo.
Okay.
All right. How scary did you think it was?
I gave it a 1.5.
Okay.
Because I think that there were some moments of tension. Mm-hmm. The bike scene was cool. And then, weirdly, the one that I was the most like, ugh. That's my scared reaction is, ugh.
Yeah.
It was when she was in the bathroom and like someone goes in the stall next to them and it sounds like they're like getting up to look and it just like slowly pans up. I was like, no, wait.
Yeah.
That was, I think, the moment I was like the most freaked out, but it wasn't that scary.
All of those things, and you only gave it a 1.5?
That was 2 things.
That was 3 things.
No, it was the bike scene and the bathroom scene.
Oh, okay. Still.
What did you give it?
I rated it pretty high. I gave it a 3.
Ooh, it creeps you out, huh?
It really did. Yeah, it really fucked me up.
Yeah.
I didn't have any nightmares or anything. I saw it yesterday.
Okay.
I didn't have to sleep with the light on or anything like that. But
good.
I did think it did a really good job building tension in a way that you know when the jump scares are going to be, but sometimes they don't do the jump scare, which to your point, the bathroom scene, that was what made bathroom scene so scary.
Yeah.
When they do the jump scare, it's like not exactly when you expect it, so it still kind of gets you.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I didn't like her face, the little jaw thing. I didn't like that.
Yeah, you should clarify that you should...
Oh, yeah.
It was the special effects.
The mom. Yeah, the special effects of the mom.
Great. That's fair.
And the sound really bothered me.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I keep hearing it. Creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's one of the high. I rated it pretty high.
It's a creepy movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How sexy did you think it was, though?
I gave it a 2.
Okay. Yeah.
It's hard to be higher than a 2 because Hunter Schafer plays a teenager. So I always have a hard time with that. But I did
Hunter
give it a
Schafer is
point.
not a teenager, though.
Yeah.
Let's
She's
clarify.
Yeah. She's 25. She's old. She's old, very old. So I gave it a point for the cast.
Fair.
Hunter and Dan Stevens. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, even as a little creepy German guy, I really liked him.
I don't like his little eyes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Also for the implied fisting and ovipositing.
Oh, that upped it for you.
Yeah.
Okay. That brought it down for me.
Steaming a little bit.
That was too slimy.
It's gotta be.
Not. I also give it a 2, though.
Oh, okay.
For the cast, and then for girls kissing girls, baby.
Girls kissing girls.
Yeah, that was great. Don't we all just want like a French brunette to take us away?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How fucked up did you think it was?
I gave it a 2.
Oh. Okay.
0.1.
What?
I don't know. If 2 feels, I don't know. But when I think about it, it's just like the forced egging, that is fucked up.
Okay.
And then weirdly, the other point was for when she gets in the car wreck and she's upside down and the blood like drips into her eye, but she's still opening her eye. Oh, that made my eyes water. I don't like that.
Yeah. That would have made Dylan really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It
didn't bother me. It was a little gross, but it's not like... Ugh.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
I only gave it a 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing really groundbreaking, fucked up wise. But I gave it the 0.5 also for the implied fisting and oviposition.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my points.
Things can be hot and fucked up.
Yes, they can.
Which... Yeah. Okay.
Great. Overall, hit me. What'd you think?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Okay. I felt like this movie brought a lot to the table.
Great.
It was genuinely scary. It scared me and incredibly unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. It was shot perfectly, and especially knowing now that some of that was practical and not, digital. There was so much talent and diversity in the cast, and the story was digestible while also being pretty unique. It didn't make me think of any other movies while I was watching it.
That's
except
fair.
The Shining. There was something that was like, oh, that's kind of The Shining. Because it's like, a hotel thing.
Hotel in the mountains.
Yeah. Just
Shining.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, where it lost me was kind of to your point. I think it took itself a little too seriously, and it tried to be a little bit bigger brain than maybe it should have been. I think it should have just been a little bit more casual. And I also, again, you brought this up, would have preferred a slower burn with Gretchen and Ed.
Okay.
That storyline, I would have liked more of that. The movie was only an hour and 47 minutes. I think it could have spared 5 or 7 more minutes of like exploring that a little more.
Fair.
More of that. Because it just felt like rushed, I get it. She's 17 and I would have done the same thing. I still would do the same thing, regardless of how long I've known this person. But I just would have liked more of it. And I'll tell you, my Letterboxd review.
Thank you. I've been waiting this whole time.
Yeah. Accidentally took my dad to see a movie about oviposition. 4 out of 5 stars.
That's a good one. I like it.
Thank you. But yeah,
God,
give it
now
4.
I can finally go on Letterboxd. All right.
What'd you give it?
This has... What did you just say?
I'm guessing.
What did you guess?
A 3.5.
A 3.5?
Yeah. I don't think you liked it as much as I did.
I didn't like it as much as you did.
Yeah.
I'll start there.
Okay.
This did have a lot of concepts that I really think are interesting in horror, though.
Okay.
Cult-like organizations, forced pregnancy and birth, changelings, or like your kid not being your actual kid, right?
Yeah.
Even like the little bit of the time loop stuff. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was touching on that a little bit.
We didn't even talk about that. That was fun.
Love all of those things. Do not think they pulled them together
Okay.
in a way that worked as well as I wanted it to.
Okay.
It felt like they were just like, this is cool, let's throw that in too. Oh, this is also cool. Why not? Like, let's just throw it all in. And not all of it stuck. Not all of it landed as well as I wanted it to. I kind of agree with Singer himself when he said that this was more about atmosphere than it was about, like, a well-constructed plot. I'm just a girl who likes a well-constructed plot.
Okay.
So, I didn't like it as much as you did. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I would still recommend it. It was still a fun time because you're going to watch Hunter Schafer and Dan Stevens pop their pussies. So, why not? I gave it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have pissed if it was any lower than that, though.
No, this was a 3 out of 5.
It's still a good film.
It was still, yeah, I still enjoyed it. It was still fun. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Well,
Yeah, it was like halfway there.
maybe I'll do a sequel. I doubt it. But maybe.
Singer said that he was not opposed to a sequel. He said that he did feel like he kind of did everything he wanted to do, but he was never opposed to a sequel.
Yeah.
But
Get that bag.
get that back, Singer.
All right, well. Fun.
I
I like when I like the movies more than you.
like when I like the movies more than you.
Oh.
I just like liking movies.
Yeah.
Would you survive?
Would I survive?
That's the question.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think I'm
okay.
dead.
Okay.
I don't have the fight that Gretchen had. I'm
Yeah.
definitely moving. So the first question is, am I moving to Germany? Yes, I absolutely fucking am.
You are, okay.
So I'm in the situation, and then
And then you're dead.
I die. Yeah.
Interesting.
Would you survive?
I think so. Like, no one dies.
Well, yeah. But I think Gretchen could have if she had not fought back.
Yeah, that's fair. But, like, she didn't really. She got incapacitated and saved by the guy.
She had to stab the bird lady.
Yeah, but I think I could stab someone.
Okay. You do already use a butterfly knife.
I know more tricks than I think she does, so.
Oh my gosh.
I think that Cuckoo's going bye-bye.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. If that's all I had to do, I think I'm okay.
okay.
No one really dies.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm taking the dub.
Okay, fair.
Thank you. I think so.
Couldn't be me, but
Just immediately ending it. Like, as soon as things get weird.
Yeah.
Someone vomits on the floor when you're working customer service and you're like, I'm done.
I'm out. That would be my 13th reason.
I've had fucking enough.
Yeah. And for it to happen 2 times?
Oh, no.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First day on the job? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Bye. All right. You want to predict next week's movie? You know what it is.
Nope.
I've missed this.
Oh, you want me to look? And then I'm going to look.
No, I don't want you to look.
So I don't even look.
Great. Next week's movie is called American Mary.
Oh.
Oh, that one that I've never heard of.
Yeah. This is a modern war movie about a woman named Mary.
Absolutely.
Yep. But she's not American.
No, she's not.
She's from a different country.
Absolutely.
But her country's at war with America.
Mm-hmm.
And she has to pass as American.
Yep.
Because the Americans are winning.
Of course.
So I'm I'm trying to figure out where the horror comes in.
Yeah, me too. But slow burn, I like it.
It's body horror. It must be. That's all that. Yep.
Okay.
So she gets captured
Great.
by her own country for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. She tries to get out of the military. She's forced into the military. She tries to get out of it by pretending to be
Got
American and then taken back to America.
Okay.
But her own country captures her.
Yep.
And then horror ensues.
Got
Body horror.
Okay. This is torture, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Does she live?
No.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Rip American Mary.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I don't think I got anything right, not even a little bit, but that would be a fun war movie.
You got something right.
Her name's Mary.
Her name is Mary.
Yeah.
She is American in the movie, but the actress who plays her is Canadian, so.
Oh, nice.
Not American.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and you actually know her.
I do.
Yeah, her name is Catherine Isabel, and you know her from Ginger Snaps. She's Ginger.
Oh, nice. That's the only thing I know her from. But that is a Canadian movie, so I should have guessed.
You should have guessed. And you got one other thing right.
War.
No. It has nothing to do with war.
Torture.
Body
Body
horror.
Oh, no!
You were right about that.
Yikes.
And that's all I'll give you.
Well, I'm not looking forward to it.
Hey, Em, it's been a while.
Okay, well. Thanks, I guess.
Yeah, anytime. All right, cool. Well, that's our feelings on Cuckoo. If you've seen it, let us know whose side you're on. Is Katie right? Am I right? What's the vibe?
I mean, I don't think either of us are wrong, but, you know.
That's so true. Oh, God.
If one of us is right, it's me.
I'm unfamiliar with being wrong, so I don't know if that's true. But
We want to know something crazy is that your rating aligned with the audience score and mine aligned with the critic score.
Yeah. I feel like that always happens, though. One of us aligns with the critic and one of us aligns with the audience. That's happened quite a few times.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
But not this time.
But not this time. Well, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I'm an audience. I'm not a critic this time.
Mm-hmm. Don't tell Rotten Tomatoes. We have to be critics for 2 whole years.
Oh, I'm a critic. I'm so critical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Critical thinking.
I do think I have some of that.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but an ounce or two.
Enough for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But cool. Yeah, Cuckoo, new movie out now. Go see it.
Please.
Tell us what you thought.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time when we talk about American Mary.
The most American of all the Marys, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you then.
Like and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.